First step, remove the spool holder. I already removed it. It's just 2 screws. The spool holder comes off very easily like this. So once you're done removing, we'll continue. 6 screws later, this should just come right off. Now grab your filament runout sensor wire. This is a very cheap filament runout sensor, like this. It costed 300 rupees. I got 2 wires. I actually cut it in the center and extended it, and I had to cut it so that, because this thing won't go through the bottom hole, like what I mean is this, like this thing won't go through the cutout at the bottom of the bearing. This is just some dust caps that I had printed long ago. Please ignore. So yeah, but don't put this end, put the other end. Like actually I cut the sensor out, put some tape. I'll solder it later. So just find any one of these holes and like put it through. I recommend using the hole behind, like not behind, like to the front of the plate, like this. So I'm just like kneading it inside. It should come at the bottom. I'll show it to you. Once you have put the wire in like this to the back door, just let it go on the end to the complete end, and now you have to install this thing back before you open the panel below. You have to install this because now, as you can see, there's no tension in the rod, and you just don't want this thing to bend or anything. You might have to cut here. I'll show you where to cut, because this thing won't sit flush, so you have to cut it. Like you have to route the wire from this small channel here, but this thing you have to cut it a little bit of plastic. So as you can see, I made the cuts. I'm just going to pull it out cleanly so that the wire does not rub against anything. I'll show it to you. Here we go. You have to remove that simple white channel. Like if this is a white channel, remove the top left, so that when this wire comes here in this gap, it can come cleanly. I'll insert and show it to you. Like what happens is, when you install this wire, usually the clamp that was there existing before, that would have blocked the path for this wire, and this thing will get crushed and this thing won't sit flush. You don't want that to happen, because sometimes it can wobble and stuff. So to make it sit flush, we remove a tiny part of it. It won't reduce the quality or the reinforcement or anything. It will just temporarily, it's a temporary solution. This part is not very clearly visible. Oh, there it is. I just shoved the wire inside the small part, and this thing just like that sits. I need both the hands, so I'll put it inside and show it to you. But just shove the wire in there so it does not come in between, and just put the cap back on. So after the cap sits, make sure everything sits flush. Like there should be no gap on the top, on the edges, on both the sides, or even on the sides. You can lock the wire here, feed it in between both the belts, and lock the wire there, leaving around 1 or 2 inches extra here. I'll just put this and show it to you. So after all this, so that you already checked there's no gap, put all the screws back. In my case, I also put the dust filter cap, that all small, the orange one I printed, and here's some extra wire left. I wired it through this small channel over here, and it's just hanging down here, the rest of the wire. So I put all the screws. And one more thing, a side note, like if you don't want to do this thing where you have to remove the panel, guide the wire, cut your tape, if you feel like it might weaken your thing, you can do one more thing. I have seen people take a small washer here, put it over this, and then put a small like let's assume this is a small metallic plate or some toothpick, ice cream stick or something. They clamp it down like this with one hole here, and here they tie this thing, run it here with zip tags, and the wire can go directly to the, like you can pop this small shell out and the wire can go directly inside. But make sure when you zip tag, don't zip tag anything to this frame or the lead screw. Like I know you don't do it for the lead screw, but just in case you do it for this frame, the gantry might come in the way. So that's why people put ice cream stick and like make a new, like a cantilever hanging down there. So flip it to the side, undo all the screws. I don't know how many screws, but there are these many screws in there. Once you're undone all that, you see this flat haven cable? It's like a small U clamp. So pull it back a little, slide it to the side. Yeah, and now there should be one singular fan connected here with some hot glue. I had previously removed it, so it will be easy. You can just pull it. Be careful to before pulling it, because with one of my other printers, when I had pulled it with this one, the whole connector came off. The whole connector had come off. It's easy, you can just pull it back, but just saying, it's just be careful. And you can also already see the wire over here. So what we'll do now right now is we will connect back the pin again. Like I'll test it with the multimeter and reconnect the pin again. I think I'll connect a black one. So I'll connect a black pin over here. If you want, you can shorten the wire also, like, because you don't need a lot of wire. Just connect over here. Regarding where to connect, that's the main important part. I'll let you know after connecting this. Regarding how I'm connecting this is like I'm splitting all the three wires, from both the wires, from the connector and from the one that came from the top. I'll split the ends. Here I have split the wires from both ends. Now before connecting these, I'll be connecting this using some heat shrink tube, because I don't want to solder and put some tape. But I also have like a small multimeter here with line testing, in which I can just simply test which port goes where. Regarding how do you check if it's properly connected, I'll show you. So I've connected the wires and I've also put the heat shrink on it. So regarding how do you connect the wires, just in case I've cut it, you might have not cut it, but the reason I cut it is I can try like putting the wire through here. You can see it won't fit, like the wire is very big and it won't fit through that hole. So I cut the wire and we have rejoined it. So how do you reconnect it is, do you see this tiny arrow on the right hand side, this tiny little arrow here, corner, right at the edge of my nail? Yeah, that arrow. So remember that arrow first. The middle wire connected to the middle wire. The right arrow should also match with the same right arrow on the other side of the indicator that is there. Connect the wire, connect the last wire. You can connect the middle wire as it is. Connect these two wires. Test it with a multimeter. You can test it with this line reading module, and it should work. If everything is proper, well and good. If it is opposite, you can just inverse the last wire and the first wire. Just swap it and it should be okay. But in simple words, what I'm trying to say is the arrow should match up. This arrow should, this line should be connected to the same line on that end of the arrow. Like the same wire should be connected. Okay, so regarding the connector, this clip over here goes to this edge. You got to leave this last one here over here. Like, okay, I totally forgot. You need to find, like in this entire board, you need to find something like this, like filament. You see this here, F-I-L. If this thing can focus, see, there it is. There. F-I-L-A-M. It's upside down, but you need to find that filament, because that's where you need to put the sensor. This is the manual and it's right next to this, right next to Z port, and you can also find the Z port over here, like it's right there. So that's the Z port and that's the filament. So in the filament you need to connect it to this, this and this. So you take your wire, your 3-pin wire. I removed this side of the clip because it has to smoothly slide in, and you just connect it like that. just like that. So this is vacant, as you can see. Yes, it's vacant. Leave it vacant, don't do anything to it. Okay. If you want to secure it, put a bit of hot glue on this. I'll be putting a bit of hot glue on this and on this as well, because this thing shakes, right? So I don't want to come loose, and there would be a reason that these people also put hot glue everywhere, or maybe it's because of due to shipping. Regarding the excess wire, I'll zip tag it to this, and I'll close up this. Before closing up, I'll show you how it looks. I'll experiment. Okay, I want to quickly explain what wire is which one. So just in case you don't have the same exact connector as mine or anything else, you can still make it work. So this is the connector that I have. The best part about this Creality printer is you can just make do with anything as long as you know what you're doing. So this board has two, as far as I know, there are two outputs in this. There's 5 volts and then there is 24 volts, I guess. I'm not sure, but I think there are two. So yeah, okay. So I'm just telling you everything on the brief. I'll explain to you in detail. Just give me a minute. So in the previous clip and same video, I explained to you that you're going to leave this last one out here. This is 24 volts and connected to these 3 ones. I'll tell you which are the 3 ones. So that's the 3 ones. Same thing as in here in this the not sensor. So to know the pinout, you can either open this and see which is ground, which is signal and all, or you can just open its image and like see the phone. This is the one that I bought. This was very cheap, like $2 or something. This is the ground sensor. So as you can see, the leftmost, rightmost is VCC, ground and signal. So again, same orientation, VCC, ground and signal. So how do you know which is VCC, which is ground and signal in this port? The manual doesn't say anything. The only thing that manual says is that there should be a filament runout sensor right next to Z port and right next to the huge green color bus. Thus this one, right? So this is a filament runout sensor. So regarding what port is what, there's a very good person who has actually shown it here. Yeah, so this guy on Reddit, there is this, he has put a very beautiful article where it is right next to, starting from the green terminal strip. So it's 5 volts, ground, sense and 24 volts. Nothing attached to 24 volts. So even if you're doing anything manual work, don't attach anything to 24 volts, right? As simple as that. So here's a demonstration of him showing it. If I could just open it. So I don't know if you can clearly see it, but there's nothing behind the 24 volts, because 24 volts you don't need it. The red is 5 volts, the ground, the black is for 5 volts, and the signal is that one. And I don't know, like, let me show it to you, because some people have a big confusion that there's a big confusion going on. That according to the filament detector module, it says that you have to connect it to 3 pin, but don't connect it to any 3 pin. There's one 3 pin right here, don't connect it there. That is actually the Z limit. Wait, is it a Z limit? Yeah, that's a Z limit. You will be connected to Z limit. Don't do it, you might have some other issues with it. Don't do that. So you have to connect it. The manual will ask you to connect to this thing like this. It will show connected to this port. Do not connect it. This is a different board, this is a different board. You can see the variations, you can see the change in the different ports. Like this is a complete different board and what there is different port. Here right next to the green pin there are only 3 sockets, but in ours right next to the green thing there are only 2 sockets, as mentioned in this this file. Actually I printed it. This comes with a stock USB, but filament detection right here, the 3 things here, that's the wrong one. That comes with the filament sensor if you buy the official Creality sensor. So just connect it. There are a lot of Reddit and all videos, but all of these people show that how to connect the official Creality runout sensor. I am showing you how to connect the aftermarket sensor, that is a 3 pin, and here also have 3 pins. So how do you know what pin connects to what? That's also quite interesting. Middle pin is ground, so we don't need to worry about it. I'll just go pull this out. So as I told you, The small arrow is here, as you can see. That thing connects to 5 volts. There, 5 volts. So the small arrow connects to 5 volts, and the middle one is ground. So just keep those two in mind. The arrow is 5, and the middle one is ground. Same thing over here. Wait a minute, here. The arrow is 5 volts here, middle is ground, and the same way it has to connect to this. So this thing has to be VCC. Once everything is done, a very simple cable type cable management, yeah, LOL, but empty. Put this back in. If you want to put a small of or drop of hot glue, just put it there. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to call it, hot glue, I think, yeah, and something there also, and reconnect the entire panel back. See you in some time. So as you can see there, I have put some hot glue so that it's difficult to remove this, and some there. My only concern is it vibrates, so I don't want it to come loose. Before putting it all in, I'll just shove the wire because I don't want it to come in between the fan, and I'll close the lid back. But there's the fan. Yeah, I showed it to you. I'm going to put the lid back and show it to you. I'll flip this. Next, I'm going to drill a small hole to mount the filament sensor to this. What I'm going to do is I'll drill a small hole here around 1 inch or 3/4 inch up from here to the left hand side, and I'll show you. So at the end, I finally mounted the sensor. I had added a small wiggle room, so I added a small clamp here. This is a small L-angle clamp that is used for small furniture and all. There it is. So it's a bit loosely fit, so that is play. I added double nut so that it does not come loose, and just small wiggle. You could tighten it, but why don't just have some wiggle? I thought of trying to make the same exact thing as the original sensor here. A simple bonus tip. So this is a limit switch. I've opened it. There are two types of limit switches. Like there's normally one and normally closed. This one is, I believe, is normally open. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah. So NO, you see, one is common. Forget that. This NO is normally open. For enders, any enders, I think even bamboo lamps and enders, you need something, and even anycubic ender and bamboo lamp, you need it to be normally closed. So here there's normally open. So I have a small cutter here. I'll cut the wire down there and connect it to normally close. What happens if you don't do this is, if it's normally open, if the filament is in there, the printer reads it as filament is not there. So like if the filament is in, it reads it as no, and if the filament is not inside, it reads it as filament is inside. It's like that. So I'll just cut this, make a small bit and solder this and show it to you. Here you can see I've cut the wire and also exposed the copper so that I can solder the normally closed and the copper wire. This is to inverse it. So as you can see, I wanted the normally closed one, as I mentioned earlier, because for ender, bamboos and anycubic you want normally closed. I have cut the wire from normally open to this reader and connected it to normally closed. I have tested it with a multimeter. It works perfectly.